Maggie from HealthyWay, and I'm here with Shannon Buescher, a registered and licensed dietitian, and we're going to answer some questions from the audience. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, so Kristin from Little Rock says, I've had issues with body image and weight my entire life. Same, Kristin. Now my daughter is coming to an age where she's becoming more aware of her body and how it's changing. Same, Kristin. How do I keep my own issues with weight, dieting, and self-worth from impacting my daughter?
So one of the important parts with someone who struggled with weight issues or body image issues growing up is to recognize that those experiences are yours and they're not hers. So it's often that a parent will project their issues or how they felt onto their child in the sake of wanting to protect them. So the intention is good, but it usually is not helpful. Kids are like sponges, they pick up on that stuff. So if you're talking about diet, if you're talking about body, or even how you used to be, and or even use comparison of like, oh, when I was your age, I was this such and such weight. You know, there's so much attachment that a child's gonna wanna glom onto it, and then it's kind of looking at, we're living in this weight stigma society, so how do I feel about this? So when there's been issues with dieting or chronic dieting, disordered eating, intuitive eating is such a wonderful process. So I highly recommend the book Intuitive Eating by Evelyn Tribole and Elise Reich. It's wonderful. So it really, working through that process really helps to heal that relationship with food and body, and really teaches and instills self-care habits that you kind of can't help but seep onto your children.
Right. Desiree from Albany says, one of my children has quite a few food allergies, nuts, eggs, dairy, etc. But my other children have no food sensitivities at all so far. How do I accommodate the diets of everyone in our family? I'm afraid my child will get jealous of others if they have to eat special food while other children aren't restricted.
I think in those sorts of situations, it's important just to validate that it kind of sucks. It sucks that there's a difference. The validation piece is an important piece. Like, let him be mad about it. Don't try to fix it, because there's literally, as a parent, there's nothing you can do about it, which is some of the uncomfortableness, which is why we want to tend to like, okay, it's going to be okay, it's going to be okay, rather than, yeah, it really does stink that you can't eat the same as your siblings. Like, just kind of embracing that. A lot of the kids that I've worked with that have had allergies, like, that validation piece is such an important part of the process. They get to that point where they know, okay, if I eat these foods, I'm not going to feel good. And so a part of the process is teaching them that, you know, again, everyone's body is different. Some bodies can tolerate that food and some can't. So it's really this act of honoring your body and taking good care of your body to not have those foods, because your body has a really bad reaction to it.
Ingrid from Tallahassee asks, how can I adequately raise children to have a healthy relationship with food? Watch our whole thing, Ingrid. But what kinds of self-soothing non-food activities can I suggest for children who do learn to eat to soothe themselves in stressful situations? I don't want to recreate unhealthy relationships with food in my children.
So mindfulness has been a big trend lately with instilling that with kids. So there's a really great book, a children's book called I Am Peace, a book of mindfulness by Susan Verde. And it really teaches about mindfulness. It has a really great guided meditation for kids. It's teaching them that they can connect on their own and calm themselves versus going towards something else. Some emotional eating is very normal. So it's not to say that it's never going to happen. It's just when it's used as the consistent soother. So when we're looking at doing that as a coping mechanism, all it's doing is stuffing down the emotion. So the emotion never leaves. And typically we're still left feeling crummy about the emotion and now pretty guilty and shameful about that eating. So when we're looking at finding another outlet, it is really looking at finding another healthy coping tool rather than using food.
Brigid from Minneapolis says, my 4-year-old used to eat everything I put in front of him, but now he's become picky and doesn't eat much of anything I make at all. How do I make sure he's getting all the nutrients he needs when all he wants to eat is chicken fingers?
Part of it's recognizing some of the commonality with kids. Like they'll go through phases of where they eat everything to then being super picky. Like that's really normal. But the big part is that you continue to offer foods that you, I always refer to Ellen Satter, who's a dietitian that has many books on childhood eating issues to really help guide parents to help create a healthy relationship with food for their kids. Her philosophy is this division of responsibility, that a parent's job is to provide what the kid's going to eat, when and where, and the kid's job is to decide if they're going to eat and how much they're going to eat. So it's not becoming a short order cook. If your child knows that you're going to make him chicken fingers, he's not going to try anything.
Thank you so much for coming on, talking to me, answering the audience's questions.
Thanks for having me.
So many good insights. You can go to HealthyWay.com for recipes for kids, parenting advice, and so much more.